How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Battlegrounds Game Center. I am Patrick, and today we're taking a look at the brand new board game, Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship. This is a new version in the Pandemic line of games with a Middle-earth spin. So if you've ever played a Pandemic game or any of the other offshoots of Pandemic, this will have a lot of similarities. But if you're really into Lord of the Rings, it's a really good mix. I'm very excited to really play this because it looks really cool. Everything about the production is very beautiful, from the dice tower to the board and everything. So we're going to take a look at all that. And also, we have a little promo, Gandalf the White. So whenever you buy the game, you get a promo. So we'll look at that when we look at the other figures. But let's go ahead and get the box open. Fate of the Fellowship, nice size box. Will fit on the shelf pretty nicely. And we've got our rulebook here. And again, it uses the Pandemic system. So you'll have like the Doom track, and then you'll be drawing your 2 cards at the end of your turn and stuff. But some of the differences, though, is you'll be playing with like 2 characters, and one character can use 2 actions, another can use 1, and you kind of flip and flop that, while Frodo's also trying to get to Mordor to drop the ring in. And there's a lot of combat because you're going to be controlling armies, so there's a little bit of an area control aspect to it as well. So here's a list of all the contents, the board features, the setup. A nice 2-page spread for that. And again, the artwork is just really cool. Really like it. If you're a big Lord of the Rings fan, I think this is going to be a must-have for your collection. It is for me, that's for sure. The Nazguls are really cool. I'll show you those minis here shortly. Yeah, so then just going over all your typical Pandemic rules and some of the additional things like attacking and all that. But shadow cards. And then we have different scenarios. And you can kind of fine-tune the difficulty as you like, because Pandemic can be a little swingy sometimes. And we got a solo mode, which is always good to see, because sometimes people don't have time to get together, and you just want to play a game. Well, there you go. You have a solo mode, you can play this game by yourself, all your different icons and everything. So that's the rule book. One of the cool things about this, though, is, of course, the Tower of Sauron dice tower. Like, this thing is awesome. I probably will not build it here, but you can see the instructions here. It is a paper craft, and it also works as a dice tower. So when you're rolling your dice, you just drop it down the tower, and boom. And when you beat the game, you can just flick it over, destroy it, whatever. You know, it's like, hey, I won. I dropped the ring in Mount Doom. I got him. All over. So, and you can put it back in the box with a little bit of disassembly. Very, very cool. Love to see it. Then we got the board itself. Again, this board is incredibly pretty. Really like it. Decently big, it looks like. It's 3x3 or 3x2. So, yes, you can kind of see all the beautiful artwork we have here. So many little details on the board. That's all over it. Like, I don't. You can kind of see all the different art pieces there. You have all the lines showing you the paths of everything. There's your hope track, which is one of the ways to lose the game. Very cool. Threat track, of course. Very, very pretty. Love that. That's one of the things that definitely wanted me to get this game, was the board. I always love a good, pretty board. And we have the rest of the components in here. So we have some custom dice. So these are their own thing here with different symbols. So they got like these trees here, Eye of Sauron. Then you've got the combat dice, which as I drop them, so they'll have different symbols for the different types of meeples for when you're doing combat. And then there's even a symbol for like the Nazgul and what it destroys. So yeah, some nice custom dice. A few more things here. So I don't know what this is. This might be the characters or some other pieces. Yeah, characters. So these are all the different meeples. They are screen printed meeples, so they have artwork on them. And they even have fronts and backs. Or never mind, they're just double fronts. But that's really cool. So we got Gandalf over here. Ooh, Gandalf the Grey. And while we're looking at him, we'll go ahead and open this. This is Gandalf the White promo. So I think you get another card. And if he like dies, you get to bring him back as Gandalf the White, which, duh. Ooh. It's got a little stickiness to it here because it was stuck to it. But yeah, I'll get that off later. But yeah, you can see the alternate look for him. And then he's got his new card. And all the cards will have different powers. Beautiful artwork of everybody on the back there. We, of course, have Gollum, or Schmeagol. Very, very cool. Frodo and Sam, so they act as a team. I believe Merry and Pippin are in here, too. Yep. Very, very cool. So all the different characters. And since you'll be playing multiple characters, there'll be a lot of characters on the board, which is what you want to see in a Lord of the Rings game. All the different heroes. We got... Yeah. Alright, so then we have our cards here. So looks like these are the character cards. So you got Aragorn, Arwen, Boromir, Eomer, Elwyn, Faramir, Frodo and Sam, Galadriel, Gandalf, Gimli, Gollum, Legolas, and Merry and Pippin. So all your characters, plus Gandalf the White with your promo. And then you have the different quest cards. So one of the things like you do with this, which is kind of like the World of Warcraft version that they had, where you have to do quests. And once you defeat those quests, you can finally go do the final quest, which in this case is throw the ring at Mount Doom, destroy the one ring, and then you'll win the game. But there's quite a few, and I think they're always going to be random each game. So very, very cool. And there's quite a few of them. That's very cool to see. You got your action cards telling you how to play. And then, of course, this is like the threat cards, or the shadow cards. I don't remember what they're called. Very similar to how Pandemic works. It'll give you like a region where you're going to put stuff, how they're going to move, and then there will be an effect on the bottom there. So quite a few of those. The Drums of War and then the Wheels of Saruman are some unique cards that'll get put in. And they're nice big chunky cards with some good artwork. The orcs. Very, very cool. The player decks. So this is just like in Pandemic. We'll have different locations. These will also be different locations and regions. I think the way this one works is, when you're in the region, you can trade the cards. There's different ring cards, stealth cards, I believe are used. Those are used, and then like combat cards. And then you got all your different events here. And of course, Skies Darken. So when you pull one of those, you'll advance the threat track, and you'll add more cards and draw more cards to add more enemies to the board, just like in regular Pandemic. We've got a few more pieces here, and this has a nice little insert too. It has some artwork on there. So this is the dice tower itself and some tokens. I'm not going to worry about opening that, but there's a nice big pack of those. We've got all the different cubes, so they are little soldier meeples. We got some nice wooden the Eye of Sauron that will move around the board. We got our enemy cubes and some additional good guy cubes for all the different nations. And then one of the cooler things, it even has its own little box for you to store everything in, and it shows you how to do this. There's two different types, but the Nazgul and their riders, they have little standees you can put them on so they look like they're flying across the board, but you can kind of see nice little black miniatures. You got the little guy riding on top of it. Very cool. They didn't have to do this, but it does look really cool. So, and there's a few different sculpts of those, but I believe that is everything though that comes in Lord of the Rings Fate of the Fellowship. So if you're into Pandemic and you're into Lord of the Rings, I think this is kind of a no-brainer. It was definitely a no-brainer for me. I've heard pretty good things about it, and I'm really excited to put it on the table and try it out, especially since there's a solo mode. That's always good to have. But if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more like it, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. But until next time, I'm Patrick at Battlegrounds Game Center. See you later.